сделано в системе Prezi, вот, поэтому будет отражаться целый экран, и периодически я буду переходить в эту систему непосредственно, поэтому следите, пожалуйста, за экранами. Okay, so let's begin today's workshop, which is devoted to writing a successful motivation letter, and right now I will start demonstrating my screen. Okay, so let's just do a trial run. I will open the program. If you see the, I will open it for a second and close it. So if you see the program, just write in the window that you've seen it and everything is fine. Okay, so this is the program that I will use, and I will navigate through. So if you see everything is fine, please write that down in the application window. Okay, good. Okay, so very good. Okay, let's continue. So today's workshop, we will go through 4 stages which you need to complete to write a successful motivation letter. So first of all, we will discuss how to mind map your letter. And this is very important because each motivation letter should correspond to a very specific problem that you have chosen. And I will explain how to do that and how to achieve the most success. Then we will look at how to structure the motivation letter, and while doing that, we will look at a case study of one CV. And during this first stage, I will give another example of a successful CV of a student who got to a PhD program in the University of Berkeley. And finally, we'll look at writing style used in motivational letters. Okay, so let's move on to mind mapping your letters in 3 steps. So 3 steps that you need to complete, and these are essential. You know, people usually don't like to do a lot of planning, and they just sit down and try to write a letter. However, if you want it to be to the point, if you want your admission committee to understand why you are the appropriate candidate for this program, you need to do the following. So first of all, you need to determine your long-term professional goal. This long-term professional goal usually takes 5 years. So basically, you need to ask yourself, where do I see myself in 5 years, right? Who do I want to become? If 5 years is a long plan, perhaps you can think about 2 or 3 years. So it depends on how well you plan and think about the future. But having some kind of long-term goal, which is clear and concrete, is essential. Okay? So in the second step, you need to understand your current strengths and weaknesses, and also determine your short-term goals. To do that, you need to ask yourself, okay, what skills and knowledge do I have currently, right? Do I have any evidence to support that? Also, you need to ask what additional skills and knowledge and experience you don't have, right? So understanding who you are now will help you understand what you need, what additional steps you need to complete to achieve your long-term goal. And actually, these weaknesses maybe, or something that is still lacking, become your short-term goals on why you choose a certain program. And in step 3, you align, right? Basically, you need to show that your current goals and the goals of the program that you choose, they correspond to each other. They go hand in hand, right? So that you are a perfect candidate and there is no one else who should be chosen for this specific program. Okay, so let's take a look at each of these steps in detail. So, step one, define your long-term goal. When you define your long-term goal, you need to think specifically, right? So, okay, in 5 years, I would like, I'm just brainstorming, okay? In 5 years, I would like a lawyer at an international company that works in Russia, and I would like to specialize in offshore outsourcing or in taxes, basically. Okay, so this would be my long-term goal, and then I ask myself, if this is my long-term goal, what do I need to have in terms of education, right? What level of education do I need? Is the degree enough? Do I need a master degree, or do I even need to have some kind of MBA degree? So is field of studies important? Okay, if you choose a narrow focused field, of course, having specialized knowledge is very important. If you are becoming, for example, if you plan to work for an auditing company, right, like PricewaterhouseCoopers or KPMG, or even business consulting companies, field of studies is not as important, but what is important is knowledge that you bring, right? Then you ask yourself, do I need to have specific knowledge? Okay, that goes hand in hand with sort of studies, right? Technical skills. If you think of practical fields such as computer science, such as biology, right, such as research disciplines and so on, obviously this kind of professions need a lot of specialized technical skills. So what specific technical skills do you need to become such and such profession? Okay? So do you need to have any additional accreditation or certificates? Right? Sometimes having a bachelor or master degree is not even enough, right? You need to get additional professional certification. For example, those people who work in finance, right, they undergo yearly certifications, so that's also important. Recommendations. When you are applying for a certain profession, it's important to have recommenders, right? So while you're studying for a bachelor, specialist, or master's degree, you need to think of, have I developed the network of professors, and have I developed a network of employees who would like to recommend me, right? And some people don't pay as much attention to this aspect during their studies. However, as you will find out while looking for profession, having such people is important. So if you don't have such power, perhaps setting a short-term goal for the future, that while I'm pursuing a master degree in Germany, for example, in medical studies, I need to have connections and well-developed relationships with professors and researchers able to recommend me for a research institution, for example. Okay? So, professional experience, right? Again, 5-year goal is a long-term goal, obviously, and of course, these days, all employers, they are looking for experienced students who do not have just some kind of background, because in the end, when you're applying, they don't really ask for your diplomas, right? It's only when you apply for master degree you need to prove that you have bachelor or specialist degree. So for professional, in terms of professional experience, practical knowledge and internships are important. So you need to ask yourself, do I have enough of these, right? Will I be able to become a head of law department in 5 years without having previous basic experience in law? Probably not, right? So you need to build that range of steps sequence by sequence. Also, through professional experience, you demonstrate such skills as management, right? Management is important regardless of whether you are becoming a researcher, a business professional, because there are always team leaders who engage and lead others, okay? Soft skills. Soft skills are also very, very important. You might be the brightest star in the sky, but if you don't have such skills as teamwork abilities, or if you have bad time management skills, perhaps you are not a very good employer, right? And although you might be accepted for the job, the question is how long are you gonna stay with that job? Will you be able to grow professionally if you don't have these skills? So also think, what skills do I need to have if I want to be a top manager? What skills do I need to have if I want to be a leader at one of the research institutions, and so on. And other skills. Okay, let's go back. Other skills include applied language skills, obviously, right? I assume that many of you who are planning to study abroad would need language skills. So are they demonstrated, right? And this is usually very well seen through the quality of writing of your motivation letter and even through your CV. So you need to work on that, right? And also many companies now look for multicultural, for people with multicultural and international experience, right? Because you would have to deal with lots of cross-cultural aspects. And some companies emphasize also social values, right? So if you are a person who would like to become a member of a non-for-profit organization, do you have the necessary social values, and actually do you have evidence of work in this field? If you don't, right, then you would need to set it as your goal, and perhaps the next step of your education would help you achieve this. Okay? So, again, step one, you only set your long-term goal, you choose your profession, you choose your field of studies, and then you look at all the different aspects step by step and set long-term goal in terms of education, in terms of professional experience, soft skills, so on, right? Some people, and it's understandable that some people don't know exactly what they want to do, right? So if you don't know what exactly you want to do, you need to have at least an understanding of a general field of knowledge where you would like to grow, right? And also, it's important to know how you came to such an understanding, because especially in Russia, when we have to choose a field of studies for our bachelor degree, we have choice to transfer to a different program. So you basically, for 4 or 5 years, you study something, then you realize that this is not what I like to do, right? And you say, well, perhaps if I do human resource management, I would be a better person at that, because I'm doing well with people, I have a good psychological understanding of people, and so on. So the question is, yes, you may change your field of studies, right? Yet you still need to have an anecdote of how you arrived to such change, right? Made you think that human resources would be better for you. And given that field, you can set your long-term goal, first of all, to change the field of studies, because this is also a long-term goal, and therefore to acquire the necessary skills to become a human resource specialist. So this could be a very good long-term goal. So once again, if you do not know what exactly you want to become in the future, you need to think of it in general terms. Okay, so after setting long-term goals, we move on to step 2, which is define your foundation. Basically, who you are today, right? So, what education do I already have, right? What field of studies or what courses that I've taken, right, are appropriate for my long-term goal. Don't choose courses that are general, right? Only those that demonstrate that this is the step that I took towards my long-term goal, even if you don't realize it. So, what specific knowledge do you already have for your long-term goal? Okay? And the same thing you do with all of these aspects. With education, what do I have now and what suits my long-term goal? With professional experience, do you have internship experiences? Do you have some practical experience? And so what kind of skills have you gained and what do you feel comfortable with? Right? What soft skills do you have? Here you might think also of your of different aspects that you do. Different aspects that you do during your life, right? Because in addition to academics, you also engage in different extracurricular activities. And these engagements in extracurricular activities are very important in demonstrating your emotional intelligence and soft skills, teamwork abilities, management skills, cross-cultural skills, and also other skills. So if you're good at languages already, that's very nice. If you can prove it with international language certificates, that's also very excellent. Okay? So step 2, you focus on yourself and what do you have now to contribute to your long-term goal. Okay? After doing step 1 and step 2, we move on to step 3. Where you set your short-term goals. So basically, you align your long-term goals, knowledge gained, and you factor out things that you already have, and so you are left with skills and experiences that you lack, right, to advance to your goal. And this ultimately becomes your short-term goal for the chosen program. Okay? So, I understand in terms of education, what knowledge do I need to gain? What necessary practical exposure do I need to obtain? What soft skills do I need to develop? And maybe some other areas specific to the field. Okay? So, setting short goals for the chosen program. And finally, so all these 3 steps will help you do the following, right? First of all, setting long-term goal and introducing your long-term goal to your admission committee is very important because they are looking for ambitious, for successful individuals who, as a result of their education, will succeed, right? Who will become prominent. Also, step 2, where you define your foundation, will become your evidence of entry, qualifications, and motivation, right? Through the experiences and skill, I will show that, first of all, I'm qualified for this program, and secondly, that I have a motivation, because you choose only skills and experiences that are that have to do with your long-term goal. And finally, through step 3, you set your short-term goals, and then you will work on trying to align specific skills to be gained with programs' advantages and features, right? What advantages and features does this program have to satisfy my short-term goals? So this is the structure which is based on you, not on the program. The way people, well, of course, you can do the other way around also, right? You can make or think of your long-term goal in terms of the program that you have already chosen. But ultimately, it will still be the same, right? You set your long-term goal, you define your foundation, you set your short-term goals. Okay? So before we move to the next step and the following discussion, I'm ready for some questions because this is the essential part. So I want to make sure that everybody understands this. Okay? So if you have questions, please write them down in the window. Any questions? Is everything clear, or should something be specified in Russian? Okay? So, Masha is writing something. Multicultural experience, exactly. Multicultural experience to go abroad. So, of course, this is not essential, right? But again, if you are choosing a master program which is only 1 year long, usually you get for culture shock, right? So, if you have some kind of multicultural experience, this would be definitely an advantage to you. Okay? It will demonstrate that you are flexible, you have multicultural experience, and you don't have to spend extra time to adapt. Okay?
Какое слово ключевое?
Any other questions?
Мы свое сделали, можно сказать.
Первое место.
Нормально.
Ну смотри, короче, установка Embracer 4 место, установка автономного 5-5, ремонт Embracer 8, тоже первое страница. Ну, 13, но тоже недалеко, 11, 13.
Okay, so if we don't have questions so far, on your left-hand side, where you see общие файлы, you may download the first handout, which is called Motivation Workshop Handout. Okay, so you can download it to your computer, and it will help you to plan your motivation letter. Okay. So please do that, and in the meanwhile, I'm going to go through this handout so you understand what you're supposed to do. Okay? So this is exactly what we've done just now. Okay? So when we complete step 1, you define your long-term goal, your 5-year career goal. Okay, so let's take, for example, myself as a case, okay? Let's imagine that in 5 years I would like to be a managing director at McKinsey company in Moscow. So McKinsey company is a consulting company which advises businesses on various business strategies and basically helps them grow. Okay, so what kind of degree level do I need to undertake this job? So if I want to be a managing director, which is a relatively high position, perhaps which is not required, but it would be helpful to get an MBA degree, so Master of Business Administration, because I would know how to manage people in my team. I would also know how to work with large companies such as Gazprom, right, when working with my team. Okay, field of studies. Is it important to have a certain field of studies? For consulting, actually, this is not essential, but perhaps having education related to business and economics, so understanding of how business works, is important. Okay, so field of studies, I would say, varied, but important to have understanding of business and economics. Specific knowledge. Do I need to have specific knowledge? Yes, specific knowledge of business strategies and also skills of auditing. Okay, any technical skills. Well, not that I know, because I know that these companies teach such skills once you become a member. So, as far as I know, no specific technical skills are required. Okay. Recommendations. I would say yes, because of course it's important to have people who from businesses who have worked with me and who can describe me as a good leader and as a good business consultant. Okay. So, what about soft skills? Teamwork abilities. Absolutely. Is it important to have teamwork abilities? Definitely, because you work always with a team. You also, when we're in that kind of work, you are sent to a different part of the country, you work at a different company, and you need to get along with them as well. So the success of your teamwork will result in the success of your performance. Management skills. That's obviously yes, because I'm applying for a management position, managing director. Presentation and negotiation. Also, this is very important. Right? I have to be proficient in my presentation skills because I'm planning to present business strategies to the companies who pay big money to this company. Cross-cultural skills. Well, if I live and work in Russia, perhaps this is not as important, but if in the future I would like to transfer to a different country, say to London, to Great Britain to London, or to the US, I definitely need to have cross-cultural skills. Flexibility and multitasking, yes, this is a very demanding job when you might work on several projects at a time, when you have to move from city to city, from country to country. You have very unstandard work hours and so on. Okay, languages. Language, yes. So I should be proficient in English, and even though I'm planning to work in Russia, English skills are essential because all of the reports are written in English. IT skills, well, perhaps having good presentation skills, I don't know, using PowerPoint or using such program as Prezi would be important. Okay, and practical experience, yes. If I want to become a managing director, I need to have a good record of professional experiences where I worked in businesses and undertook various business strategies. Okay, so this is the first step. I understand what I need to get that kind of job. So let's think, what do I have now? Do I have the necessary degree? Well, actually, I do not have an MBA degree, and that's why so this is one of the goals that I would set for myself. I need to have an MBA degree because this would be essential for my managing director position. Field of studies. Okay, so I do have the relevant background. I have received a bachelor degree in economics and also a graduate degree in international business. Do you have specific knowledge? Well, maybe not so much specific knowledge to business consulting because I've been working in education for several years, and nevertheless I do have some skills in business strategy as I've been working on the company's development. Okay, we decided that technical skills are not important, accreditation is not important, and recommendation. So do I have people who can recommend me? Yes, I do have some people, but again, all of them come from the field of education, so perhaps for the future I would want to have some more contacts from of people from various business fields, right? So that my background feels a bit more diverse. Soft skills, teamwork abilities. Do I have teamwork abilities? Do I have any example of teamwork abilities? Well, let's say that I've been playing volleyball for 10 years, and this is a good demonstration of, and I have been actually the captain of the team. So, see, I do not focus on my professional experience, I use my extracurricular experience to demonstrate soft skills. Demonstrate management skills. Okay, I think I do have demonstrated management skills because I take the position of international relations director right now, so I manage the company's external relationships, right? I also teach classes, so that includes some degree of management because you have to manage students. Presentation and negotiation, yes, so my current work includes a lot of those. Cross-cultural skills, that's plenty because I've studied abroad and so on. Flexibility and multitasking also because my work includes teaching, writing, presenting, advising, thinking of business strategy, and so on. So language skills, yes, I do have necessary language skills. And practical experience, not so much practical experience in business strategy, right? So based on these two steps, I make a conclusion that my short-term goal would be, first of all, to obtain my master degree in business administration. And for that purpose, I would need to have specialized background, specialized preparation and curriculum, right, in business studies, in business development and strategies, and so on. Do I need research opportunities? Maybe not so much. I probably need more practical experience in the fields, and that's why it's important for me I will actually substitute research opportunities for practical opportunities. So I'm looking for a program which combines studies and also work at companies. And also I want to develop my network of relationship with professors in this field and also with companies in this field, right? So let's skip the second part and I will move on to practical opportunities. So this is what I need, and also career development, right? So I want to have a program which will expose me to various companies where I can meet different experts in the field. Perhaps I can work for several years at one of these companies, develop my background specifically in business strategy because I lack that at the moment. And then I would apply for a position of a managing director. Okay? And so the next step is I need to specify how the chosen program will suit my needs. So I would like to complete my MBA degree at the University of Chicago Booth Business School, which is a very acknowledged leading business school in the United States, right? So, quality of professors. This is important because actually University of Chicago offers, it's not professors who just teach, professors are actually business people and experts, and they combine education with work. So I will have experts in the field in my classroom. That gives me an opportunity to develop stronger networks with them, right? And perhaps ask for their advice how to develop my career further. Curriculum. So the school's curriculum focuses on case studies and practical analysis of business cases. So instead of reading books, I will be exposed and gaining practical knowledge of doing that. And this is exactly what I need because I haven't had such an experience previously. Okay, let's keep research and opportunities on organization. And multicultural and language skills, that's clear. So what kind of practical opportunities it provides? So during the summer of between my first and second year of studies, this program places students at the leading companies business companies, consulting companies in the United States, and you complete a 3-month internship at the site, so doing the consulting job. So this is very important for me to develop, again, the background in business consulting, and also to establish my future relationship and perhaps a place of work. Career development. Also, the school focuses a lot on career development. It organizes various educational fairs, and because they are a leading school in the United States, they usually attract the best companies and the best experts. So this is how I use my experience to plan my motivation letter for the MBA program. And this is exactly what you need to ease the process of your writing. Okay, so I hope that you've downloaded the handout. So let's see if everyone has done so. So please write if you are able to download the handout successfully. Okay, very good. Excellent. I cannot, so what's the problem? So if you were not able to download, just remind me at the end of the webinar, and I will send it over email so that you have something to work with, okay? One important thing is that when you, let's go back to, so when you're working on this section, right, where you give examples, your examples need to be very, very specific, right? It's not just, well, I chose this program because it has international faculty. This is not surprising. Almost every university has international faculty, right? You need to really deep inside and find what is so special about this program, right? What is that this program offers to satisfy your short-term goal that other programs do not? So depending on how well researched your program is, the quality of your writing and the depth of your writing would be exactly the same. Okay? So let's go back to the presentation. Okay. So the next is, so basically you match the letter after you completed these 3 steps. Now this is the time to organize your logic and your thoughts, right? And to make it all look cohesive and concise. So your marketing strategy, right? The goal of your motivation letter is to, first of all, show that your background qualifies you for the chosen program, right? You know the requirements of the program, and you choose different aspects that show that you are qualified. And the second is that the program's advantages and features, they address your short-term goal. They are aligned to your short-term goal. Okay? So let's see how we can do that and what the typical structure is. Okay? So right now I will introduce you to the general motivation letter structure. This structure is more appropriate for such countries as Europe. For example, if you are writing your CV for Germany, France, or if you're applying for Erasmus Mundus program, or you're planning to study in the United Kingdom, this structure is very good because it's more formal. Such countries, and also Canada is good too. Such countries as United States, they have a slightly different approach, so they want to hear a less structured and rigid essay. They want to have a story, right? So they would usually ask you to write a story of yourself, which from on the one hand demonstrates your motivation and your qualifications, but at the same time shows something very personal about you. Okay? Okay, so we will focus on the standard one and take a look at that. Many of you know, I hope, that each essay and motivation letter is not different, has a general structure, where we have an introduction, where we have main body, and where we have conclusion. What we change is the content, right? So let's begin with the introduction. So, in the introduction, you, first of all, it consists of three parts, obviously. Introduction, introductory sentence. The second would be your defining your long-term goal, and finally your thesis statement, right? How your short-term goal is satisfied with the chosen program. So this is your thesis statement. In terms of the introduction, so many people have a very standard word form that my name is Uliana Pavlova, and I'm a student of the Ural Federal University, and I would like to apply for this program. So can you imagine that each admission officer has to read thousands and thousands of motivation letters? So in the end of the day, it becomes boring and nothing new. So you really need to distinguish yourself. And usually you can give a personal story or an anecdote to introduce your long-term goal, or to introduce how you have arrived to your passion. Okay? But again, it should be very carefully chosen. It should be very interesting, and you do not need to write too much. It should be concise. Then, when you define your short-term goal, you need to make a transition from giving your long-term goal. What have you done already? So, what have you done already? That would be also one or two sentences. And what do you lack? So remember step 3, when we decided what we lack. So your short-term goal, you make a conclusion. So based on what I have and based on my long-term goals, currently I seek to obtain additional training, for example, in business consulting and management. This is my short-term goal. And then the final sentence of your paragraph will be your thesis statement, where you explain or you state how the chosen program satisfies or addresses your short-term goal. Okay? And again, it should have clear reasons why. So I choose this program as it, or the program at the School of Management of the University of Chicago best addresses my short-term goal, as it provides the necessary exposure to business experts and provides ultimate career opportunities. Right? So these are two of the focuses why I choose this program. Okay? So introduction is very important, and actually if you are not sure how to connect the goal, you may leave it until the end and actually write introduction as your last point, right, as your last task. Let's take a look at the example. So I took an example of one of the students. She was successful with this CV, although in some aspects it could be improved, of course, right? So let's look at how what kind of engaging beginning she uses. And so she points out that since her Soviet childhood in the industrial capital Yekaterinburg, marked by gray blocks of civil structures. I have always been fascinated with magnificent and diverse Roman architecture of the Colosseum, the Parthenon, and the Vatican. So she gives a contrast. She gives a contrast of her gray childhood and some pictures that she has seen that evolve her interest to architecture, right? Then she moves on and she connects her interest, her childhood interest to where she is now, right? That my 5-year education at the business faculty of the Bureau of University did provide me with important technical and scientific knowledge in civil engineering, right? So I give the lead that probably my background is satisfactory and I'm a good student for this program, right? And then she set her long-term goal. Yet it is through my practical experience and international leadership, right? So we also learned that she had already practical experience and also international experience. That I realized the challenges of process civil engineering to balance engineering, economic, ecological, and aesthetical concerns. So she brings up a problem which could not be solved by the Russian educational system because this field is not developed. We do not have a sustainable approach to architecture. And that's why she believes that civil engineering program at the University of Bogota, its high interdisciplinary nature, will be a critical step towards this path. Okay? So again, we expect that she will focus on the multidisciplinary nature of the problem, which will help her satisfy the goal of finding balance between engineering, economic, ecological, and aesthetical concerns. Right? So this is it. And this, I will say, is a bit long of an introduction, so it might be even shorter. Okay? Let's move on to the main body. So the main body usually consists of 3 paragraphs, and 3 paragraphs, 3 goals. So it's logical to show your background and that you're qualified. Also, while doing that, you demonstrate your motivation to a certain field, right? You don't do it directly, you do it indirectly, but it's there. Okay? So the topic sentence focuses on aspects that you already have, right? What qualifies you for the chosen program? And then you exemplify, right? You exemplify and support it through your coursework, through specific practical projects, and internships. It's also important that you do not just list these courses and practical projects, but you analyze, right? What have you done successfully and what haven't you done successfully? Because some people just like, okay, I'm a qualified candidate because for the program in economic development, because I took classes in economics, statistics, and international development. Okay, so yes, I know that between the classes that do I know that we were successful? No. I need to analyze, right? What skills did I gain? What experiences I learned? What projects that I did successfully and that demonstrate that I have very good skills, right? So you always analyze it in terms of cause-effect relationship. Your course would be as a result of a certain project or as a result of a certain course. The effect would be skills and knowledge gain or motivation that you receive. I gained the skills or I learned that this is the area where I want to perform and so on. So, as I said before, when listing these experiences, you also demonstrate indirect qualities, right? So, you choose experiences, projects that reflect the chosen field. If we are about civil engineering architecture, I would choose examples and projects which are related to this field. I would not talk about something completely unrelated, because even though I do not say that I have motivation, I show that motivation through examples.
Ладно, в любом случае документ.
And again, those people who attended SCV workshop, right, you should be quite comfortable in that because you have already chosen the appropriate skills and experiences for the chosen problem, and you can elaborate more on that. Okay? So, let's take a look at the example.
Слушай, то есть...
So the topics which shows that she is qualified. Right? Remember that the program has a multidisciplinary nature and therefore requires a set of different skills. So the student writes, the topic sentence, a successful combination of my undergraduate education in valuation and real estate management with additional programs in economics provided me with important interdisciplinary background in civil engineering and economics. So this is the topic sentence that says that I'm qualified. But then I need to basically prove that I have certain knowledge, right? Then she specifies that through my major courses, and she doesn't really list those courses because it's quite obvious, right? And many programs are alike, so we don't need to say the curriculum. So through my major courses, I developed an ability to work, an ability to apply knowledge of mathematics through differential equations, probability and statistics, calculus-based physics, and engineering science in the context of civil engineering applications. Okay? So she specifies areas in which she is good at. And also through the course in valuation and real estate management, right, she learned central tools of economic assessment within civil engineering. So this is another skill that she has learned, which qualifies her for the chosen program. And also, her final sentence provides a transition, right, to the next paragraph, where she will talk about her practical experience. Remember that in the introduction, she also mentioned that she has some practical experience. So this knowledge allowed me to engage in practical projects, which in turn motivated me to seek complementary graduate education in civil engineering at the University of Bologna. So she emphasizes that these skills very important, and she actually applied them. We will learn about those skills later. But at the same time, they allowed her to pursue practical experience, but at the same time to learn some new information and get that for motivation for future professional development.
Просто это очень решает, понимаете?
Okay.
То, что мы показываем.
So this paragraph focuses ultimately on her practical background and on how she has arrived to her long-term and short-term goals, right? And of course, if you have practical experience, this is very important, and you should think of how you can present it best, right? Because even if it might seem that it's not important, actually, you can make a lot out of practical experience. So the topic sentence. My internship experience with the regional company, followed by a study abroad, revealed that international expertise in civil engineering that could be leveraged in Russia. So this student had both local experience and study abroad experience. And it is through a combination of these experiences that she was able to compare and contrast what our country needs for future development in environmental engineering. Okay? So then she gives an example of what she has done during her internship with Atomstroy Complex.
And what she has learned, again, I firsthand witnessed high perceived risks in the Russian civil engineering, and there is also high emphasis on environment and eco-friendly engineering, right? So she shows problems, right? And then bringing on the example of her international experience, right? She emphasizes how abroad education could benefit her and the future development of Russia. So, she mentioned that she was one of the finalists of International Business Management Program in Finland. Again, this is sort of an introductory, but it says a lot that she is a high achiever, right? I received a critical chance to obtain essential comparative perspective. Okay? And she also demonstrated that she did a research project on the topic of real estate management strategies in European countries, and through this project she was able to learn advanced modern concepts of infrastructure, territorial and regional planning. So, lots of specific terminology, but the point is that I emphasize experiences, I emphasize what I've learned and what I've understood to set up my short and long-term goals, right? I do not say that I did this, my responsibilities were that, and so on, right? So it's analytical. And therefore she concludes that recognizing the lack of eco-sustainable civil protection strategy in Russia, I seek to gain the underlying knowledge to manage the sustainable development of construction industry. So this is her short-term goal, right? Based on her practical experience, she defined her short-term goal of eco-sustainable civil protection strategy in Russia. Okay. And paragraph, right? So this would be the third paragraph in your main body. Focuses on your program and exactly how the chosen program will satisfy your short-term goals. Right? So the topic sentence would generalize what are the specific aspects of the program that you noted and how, right? The question is how always. How can you use them to improve your short-term goals? Let's take a look at the example. So, okay, so this is for paragraph. The topic sentence, right? The University of Bologna ranked top among civil engineering courses, so she chooses it for a reason. Provides the leading academic and research opportunities for civil engineering solutions in global, economic, environmental, and societal contexts, right? So this program basically satisfies the short-term goals because, first of all, it's the best program. Second of all, it has a multidisciplinary background which she seeks to make civil engineering in Russia sustainable, right? Then she elaborates that, moreover, the program's international faculty and research team, as well as access to DCAM laboratories, open state-of-the-art technologies, will provide you with access to modern techniques in engineering. So in this program, she did a little bit more research, right, and she learned that actually DCAM laboratory is one of the best laboratories in Europe, right? And it takes only working with the website to understand it. And it's good because you do not have to have an advisor or work with a professor to be there. You can do independent projects. So having such a laboratory provides an opportunity for autonomous learning activities necessary to acquire knowledge for sustainable and efficient civil engineering. She is also motivated to develop an ability to design a system component through such courses such courses as or focuses on. Okay. And then she concludes that such a holistic approach to civil engineering will allow you to further leverage this practical knowledge to contribute to the sustainable development 2020 set forth by the Russian government. So she says that if this program satisfies my short-term goal through having multidisciplinary background, laboratory facilities, and a combination of multidisciplinary courses. And if you take me basically, right, I will contribute to a much broader goal or a higher goal to set Yekaterinburg on sustainable 2020 developmental strategy. Okay? Okay. And and the final. So in conclusion, right, some people also write a paragraph about how they can contribute to the program, right? So what specifically is that you can bring to the whole community? And it depends on which school you apply to. So you need to research whether it's important and do they have any clubs, do they have any extracurricular activities going on, and how important is that in students' life, okay? So, some people do that in the introduction, in the conclusion, because if you don't have much to say, you might as well do it in the introduction. So she says that in addition to my academic contribution to the University of Bologna, I'm very excited to use my cross-cultural experience and foreign language skills to facilitate successful dialogue among a diverse student body. Well, this is quite general because lots of students these days have international experience, and there is no evidence, right? She does provide evidence that she was actually successful and that she can facilitate dialogue among a diverse student body, because many international students, when they arrive to a different country, they have culture shock. And your honeymoon stage will end at some point, and then there will be a rejection stage, right? When you will hate the foreign country and you will try to, be with the people from your country. So it happens with everyone. And therefore, if you say such things as I will facilitate successful dialogue, you need to prove it, right? For example, if you had already some kind of international experience successful, or if you're in charge of international projects at your university and have an extensive exposure to that, then go ahead and say that, okay? And in the conclusion, we just basically once again restate how this is program beneficial for your long-term goals. Okay. Okay, so this is it with the structure and with one of the examples. I will have another example at the end. So I'm ready to answer questions in terms of structure or specify if something was not understood. So please ask questions.
Вообще как-то расходятся результаты с Яндексом.
Это нормально.
Ощущение. Ну только единственное, пусковые обогреватели, первое место в Google, первое место в Яндексе. 100% результат. А так...
Any questions so far?
Разные, ничего похожего.
Does everything make sense, or do I need to explain something? If necessary, I can explain it in Russian if some things are not clear, because it's important to understand. Анекдот — это небольшой рассказ о вашей жизни, из вашей жизни. То есть это небольшая история, достаточно короткая, которая демонстрирует, например, каким образом вы поняли, что хотите заниматься, вот чем занимаетесь именно, да, потому что у некоторых людей это встречается совершенно по-разному. Вы прочитали какую-то книжку, либо вы посетили лекцию, случайно об этом узнали, да, то есть что-то, что зацепит аудиторию. Это anecdote.
Да? Да.
Стиль должен быть академический, то есть формальный, это точно.
Я вот сейчас только что пришел.
Например, данный эссе не является каким-то суперформальным или научным, он использует чисто академическую лексику, да, которая ожидается вот такого рода эссе. То есть, естественно, когда вы подаете на программу магистратуры, вы должны отразить, во-первых, владение английским языком, да, и это видно через уровень слов, который вы выбираете. Поэтому можно написать сначала просто, чтобы развить идею и сформировать логику вашего эссе, да? Но по мере редакции вам нужно будет обязательно повышать уровень, делать его более четким и, может быть, найти носителя языка, который сможет оценить. Потому что когда вы подаете мотивационное эссе, никто не думает, что вы иностранный студент, да? Вы, допустим, подаете документы в Германии. В приемной комиссии приходят заявки from students from the US, Canada, United Kingdom, and all other countries. So basically you compete with native speakers, right? And sometimes when the level of English is not high, even though you might have good ideas, they are not perceived as such, and this is the case. Для Соединенных Штатов у нас был последний пример как раз мотивационного эссе, которое было написано на программе PhD, университет Беркли, вот, поэтому у вас будет возможность посмотреть. Но оно не особо отличается, вот, но это зависит от какое эссе вам нужно писать, потому что бывает просто personal statement, да, и тогда, по сути дела, вы описываете то же самое, что мы сейчас сделали. А бывают вопросы более узкие, да, там, personal essays, там, describe a situation when you discover your passion, да. В таком случае я должна реально написать историю, да. И эта история должна, то есть 500 слов вообще это очень много для хорошего эссе, и такое эссе очень сложно писать. Так вот, представьте, что вы рассказываете на ночь сказку ребенку, да, о том, как у вас родился интерес к чему-то. И вот в 500 словах вам нужно это сделать. Вот. Это очень сложно. И, по сути дела, требует литературного языка. То есть там будет меньшая организация достаточно вольная, но она должна быть понятная. И используется литературный и высокоописательный язык, да, который позволит аудитории, которая читает ваш текст, перенестись и прочувствовать ваше эссе. Ну, я пример покажу тоже, именно personal statement. Если будет вопрос по какому-то конкретному вопросу, вы можете прям вопрос написать, что он там нужен для Соединенных Штатов или не откуда. Еще какие-то вопросы есть, пока мы на это секции?
Ну вот видишь. Ладно, хорошо, как
Нет, да?
Правильно.
Хорошо. Okay. So the next part, in the next part, we will focus on the style. Actually, we had a question already, how formal should your essay be. So we will focus on the style right now, and you will have an opportunity to witness.
Давайте я отвечу на этот вопрос. Нужно ли познакомиться с профессорами из университета?
Думаю, что это будет полезно, потому что зачастую информация, представленная на веб-сайтах, она достаточно скудная. И найти какие-то особенности программы, да, и выделить себя, что вы действительно изучили, вы эту программу не просто выбрали среди многих других, вот знакомство с университетом, с профессорами, да, общение с приемной комиссией. Возможно, вы найдете русского студента, который там учится на такой же программе, да, и поделитесь с вами опытом. Это очень важно, да. Но важно то, как это представлено. То есть можно сказать, что вот я связался с профессором и планирую делать с ним исследования. Но это не доказательство, да. То есть нужно тогда более конкретные факты, что, допустим, там кто-то месяцев назад я начал свой, коммуникацию с профессором на какую-то тему, поскольку она важна для моего исследования, и в результате обсуждения мы пришли к тому, что выбрали какую-то тему, которую я могу делать на его факторе, да. То есть должно быть, если вы ссылаетесь на профессора, это должна быть не просто ссылка на имя, а ссылка на конкретные действия, которые вы с ним спланировали. Вот. В таком случае это важно, потому что многие студенты пишут, вот там есть какой-то профессор, я хочу делать с ним исследование. Если ориентироваться на какую-то отправку, тогда лучше ее убрать, потому что многие сейчас студенты пытаются это делать, и это неэффективно. Okay? So, I will continue with the presentation. We will talk about style, and then you may ask all other questions that you have. Okay. So, writing style. First of all, your motivation letter should be concise. Concise means to the point. It should be simple and brief, right? So usually the maximum number of points would be 500. Some programs, especially PhD programs or some kind of doctoral programs, they might ask to write more than that. And of course, the more you write, the more careful you should try, because it shouldn't be just a story of your life, some sort of biography, right? Again, it should be an analysis. And another point that you do not narrate, right? You analyze. You analyze and you show cause effect, what you learned and how you have arrived, right? What you have done and where did it lead you. Next, it should be well structured. It should be clear that what you write in your body paragraph, right? Why your paragraphs are organized in the way they are. Perhaps use chronological order, so based on the progression of your interests, right, and how basically led you to apply to this program. It could be focused less on dates, but on progression, that this was your starting point, this is where you began, your interest, and in 5 years you have done so much that now you are ready to undertake a new step. Okay? So, answer should be persuasive and well-reasoned. What does it mean to have a persuasive essay? It means that everything that you say is basically either a fact, right? It's either an evidence or it could be verified, right? Perhaps if you do not explain it in that many details in your motivation letter, it will be seen through your CV, because usually you provide both CV and motivation letter. And finally, in terms of persuasiveness, right, you need to use active voice and descriptive adjectives and verbs. So active voice is important because it implies action, right? So it makes the audience think and feel the energy from you. Because when you say, use the verb to be, for example, this research is done, right? So we are here about you. So you should show what you do and what steps you take. So I would limit any use of
any passive voices. So take it out, you can always reverse the sentence structure and move it from passive to active. Okay? I will show you the handout afterwards. It should be grammatically perfect. So again, use academic language, it shouldn't be spoken language. You need to very simple and complex sentences. Actually, the essay that we looked at, it's a bit heavy because it has lots of long sentences, right? So I would make it easier by splitting some sentences into simple sentences and complex sentences. You need to avoid one-on sentences. One-on sentences это вытяжные предложения, в которых нет смысла, по сути дела. And this one-on sentences should be either full or shorter. Then we need to calculate because as we are second language speakers, we usually make lots of mistakes. We use incorrect words or inappropriate words for a given context. So it's very important that your language level in the motivational letter is very high because the better it is, the more understood you will be by the admission committee. So I would always advise you to give your motivation essays either to people who know the language very well or some native speakers. Right? I would avoid giving your essays to people, for example, to English teachers because it's more important how the language, yes, and also the structure, how persuasive that is, right? And sometimes the language used in just general English is very different, right? So you want to have a person who is well aware of how to do this, okay? And make it personal. So the more personal it is, the better. So you make it personal, for example, by providing an anecdote at the beginning of the essay, by bringing some kind of emotions, right? Don't use exclamation marks in your essay because it's not really, I don't know, a review of the summer experience. So, you make it personal by providing evidences from your life. So if you have good examples and experiences, it will be personal, obviously, right? And try to be unique, right? If you really have a unique interest, don't be afraid to say that unique interest because people value something new, right? All students seem very much alike. And because everyone wants to please the university and they try to please it in the same basically way. So try to bring your soul to your motivation letter. Sometimes there's always a question whether you should address your answer to this third person or not. So it depends, right? If it's a personal statement, then you should not address it. If it's a motivation letter, right, or a letter to the admission committee, and you know who is, you know which person is in charge of making decisions, right? It is clearly stated on the website, then you might want to address, for example, dear Mr., right? Or to clinical concern is not appropriate, right? Because it's like standing in the middle of nowhere. And also sign the letter because that's give another personal touch, right? If you just send it in a word format, then it lacks some heart. So this is so much about writing style, right? Not too long, more analysis, less narration, clear and understandable organization, persuasive, meaning that you have excellent examples, that you have active verbs, descriptive adjectives, right? And it's grammatically perfect, and you have the right word choice. Okay. So much for writing class. Questions about writing class? Нет, на CV ссылаться не нужно, это точно, потому что CV здесь само по себе, по сути дела, человек, который смотрит, рассматривает ваш вступительный документ, то сначала посмотрит на ваше CV, потому что для него будет понятно, какая ваш бэкграунд, грубо говоря, да, и разница CV и мотивационного письма в том, что CV это лишь перечисление всех опытов и достижений, которые, опять же, соответствуют с выбранной специальностью. Мотивационное письмо, оно через акцент на какие-то определенные на определенный опыт либо работы, либо академическую деятельность показывает, как вы двигаетесь от одного этапа к другому, как ваша мотивация меняется, там, повышается, как вы приобретаете новые интересы и так далее. Да? И здесь важно именно cause effect relationship, что я сделал и как это на меня повлияло. А также в резюме, например, акцент идет на достижения, да, а здесь же также акцент идет на мотивационном письме, на навыки, которые вы приобретаете, которые позволяют вам двигаться дальше, да, и успешно выполнять следующий опыт. Поэтому я на резюме ссылаться не стала, и никогда не видела, что кто-то так делает, так что лучше не делать этого. Еще вопрос есть по стилю, по организации. So again, on your right hand side where you see option file, you might want to download active verb list. So it gives you various verbs that you can use when you describe your experience, right? When you analyze your experience. So please download it, and you're welcome to use it and enhance your resume to make it more academic. Не получается скачать. Let me see. Okay, I will convert it just a second, perhaps. Okay, it's worked out. Could you please try it again? So basically this active verb list looks like this, right? So you have active verbs: accomplished, achieved, acquired, adapted, adjusted, advised, advocated, allocated, and so on. So these are very strong, right? And if you use those, first of all, using them in the past tense shows evidence, right? It means that you present the fact. And second of all, it shows what kind of action you did specifically. So were you able to download it? I don't know where you could, but so it's an option file, и вот имя файла называется active verb list, то есть вам его нужно скачать. Маша скачалась. Может быть, он у вас загрузка где-то висит, но если вдруг у вас не загрузится он, да, вы просто мне сообщите, я вам вышлю его на почту. Я могу вам все эти файлы продублировать на почту, чтобы они у вас не потерялись. Так что ничего страшного. Он выглядит вот на экране, сейчас я вам демонстрирую. So it's a long list of various different verbs that you can hopefully choose and find appropriate for your field. Okay? Okay. So, any other questions about style, writing? So, where are you planning to send your CVs? For which programs? Which countries and which programs? For which of them are you writing those? Master's degree Germany, yes. So this kind of style is also Erasmus Mundus, yes. So it's all appropriate. LLM in the United States. Okay. LLM in the United States it's quite appropriate too, depends on what question. So Anastasia, could you please tell what you're supposed to do? Are you supposed to write a personal statement or are there several different questions that you need to write? And okay, so depends again. If there's a general question, just write a letter of motivation or write a personal statement, then this would also be appropriate. For everybody else, such countries as Germany, Erasmus Mundus, and again, this the example that we've seen would be very good for that. Okay, so you might be should not worry and work on these steps, and then you will be able to organize a good essay. Okay, so right now I like to move and give you an example of another personal statement. So this student, as I said, applied to a program. It was a PhD program at the University of Berkeley, and he was successful. So this would be a good example for you, for us to study again. Okay. Okay, so this person, I will tell you a little bit about his background. So he has economics background, and he is also a student of the New York State University, and he would like to pursue PhD degree. In addition to having obtained specialist degree in Russia, he also he was doing a PhD degree here as well, where he did research, and he also worked as an advisor for a professor, so he taught students. Okay? So his answer is a bit different in a way that he actually starts it with an anecdote, right? He introduces his background, and he introduces how his interest within economics has changed, right? And why he's applying to this program. So I will just focus on key moments. He mentioned that although he studies he began studies of economics in 2000, so which is almost 12 years ago. It was not until 2 years when he conducted his first economic experiment. So what a surprise, right? It seemed like, well, perhaps during the 12 years he did, but actually he didn't. And then he says that during introduction to economics class that I was teaching, so you know that he has some teaching experience, I set up a simple experiment. So he did, this is an example of an anecdote, right? I set up a simple experiment, a simple first class option. To illustrate the demand concept to the class. So he shows that how in class it was his first time to use experiment to demonstrate some kind of concept. So students were asked to make bids for a chocolate bar. And then he showed the result that the data showed a perfect demand curve. And I felt like Archimedes yelling Eureka, right? So, although it's such a simple experiment, but this was such a big surprise to him, right? And so, although some people think that, well, maybe I shouldn't say this, but he sincerely shows the example of when he discovered his true interest. So, and then he explains, right, how this anecdote is linked to his short-term and long-term goals. That was a pivotal point, which led me to believe that experimental economics is one of the strongest methods of testing economic theories and explaining people's behavior. So it is exactly this anecdote and this class which actually led him to slightly focus his specialization from just general economics to experimental economics. Then he justifies, right? He justifies the importance of experimental economics. Considering practical significance of experimental economics and yet many unexplored topics, so again, here's my interest. There are also things that are still unexplored. This is the field where I see my contributions in the nearest future. So this is how he sets his long-term goal. Let's say that, therefore, my long-term goal is to conduct experimental economics, right? So in many important concepts of real life, currently I'm interested in finding a decent substitute for the Nash equilibrium. Okay, there are some very specific terms, but basically he doesn't only say that this is the field, he shows that he has a very specific interest in this field. And this makes it much more important and significant, right? And so having that short-term goal of finding the Nash equilibrium and also of working in experimental economics field and discover various unexplored topics, he would like to pursue the PhD program at the University of California, which will equip him with advanced skills in experimental economics. How? By giving an opportunity to work with the world's leading researchers. So this is the key, obviously, in PhD, because you do PhD to enhance your skills and to do research. Okay? And he also sets, right, the topic of his research, what he's interested in doing. Then the following paragraph explains it has the progressional development, right? So he explains how he was changing his interest in economics to a more focused interest also in economics, right? So motivation and the development of his interest through skills and experiences that he got, right? So the topic sentence of the second paragraph is that my perception of economics and focus of interest within have been gradually changing with every new experience. So I know that in this paragraph I will focus on various experiences that he did and how it led him to the next stage. Okay, so well, the first one was that obviously he was admitted to the economics department at the U.S. Federal University, and he was planning to pursue business career actually, right? And it was important because in CV he had education in business. And now you ask yourself, so how are you going to do PhD research in economics? Because still, business and economics are very different fields, right? But that, again, it's important to say that because this, by engaging in management training, he realized that this is not what he wants to do, and he is not an entrepreneurial type, and he wants to be a researcher. And then he explains how when he strengthened his desire to study economics, and this was when he worked with the professor Evgeny Popov, who introduced him to some of the economic texts which had a strong influence. So he lists these books, but he also states what exactly was interesting about these books. Not just that I read this, that's why I'm qualified, right? He learned that he learned about the institutional approach, which is very peculiar to the United States and actually is not quite used in Russia. And so his institutional research approach interested sparked his interest in economics, right? Then he said that after he received this experience, so he learned about the books, he learned about the institutional approach, he actually did a research where he applied this institutional approach. And so he gives an example of a research project which he completed, where he surveyed 200 firms to demonstrate a certain result, right? So he shows how much work he had done, right? Because surveying 200 firms is a big task, but he also shows the results that he achieved during this process. Okay? So this is one. He starts with management, then he says that, okay, management is nothing to me, I want to do something else. He meets the professor of economics who reads these books, he learns about institutional approach, finally he does practical research where he applies this institutional approach, and he confirms his interest in this field. So by explaining this story, I have already demonstrated knowledge, inquisitive mind, and the ability to do research, which is very important for a PhD program, right? He does it indirectly. Also, the next paragraph adds on to additional skills which he gained, but he chooses them for a reason, right? So he says that after graduation, I decided to continue my research in education and to apply my skills in analytical journalism. So why is this important? Well, for obvious reasons, because research is important for PhD. You need to be highly skilled in research, and also the fact that he did analytical journalism means that he is a good writer, right? And when you do PhD, you need to produce a lot of analytical works which require intensive writing. And then he explains where he did research and where he worked as an analytical journalist, right? So I will not read this, you can look through that quickly. Okay? And finally, the final aspect focuses on his teaching experience now as an assistant professor, and he emphasizes that again, being a teacher or serving as a teaching assistant is very important because it broadens my perspective, right? And therefore I have lots of knowledge which are important for a PhD program of the modern economics. And he specifies which knowledge, which new knowledge he gained that Russian students might lack, and therefore he had acquired those necessary skills, right, to be qualified for this program. And in the final paragraph, he comments here on specific experiments, right, that he is doing, and which are very, very specific. And again, he shows knowledge about this field, and he shows motivation, and he shows passion for this field. This is very important that you show passion, right? That no matter what you do, you always seek for new knowledge, you seek for new experiences, you seek to become a better professional, and you take every opportunity to do that. And in the final paragraph, he focuses on the program itself. It's not a very big paragraph, right? But he once again emphasizes that yes, he doesn't really have the necessary formal background in experimental economics, and it was only his self-education, right? But nevertheless, his self-education is enough to qualify him to become a good PhD researcher and to write in economic journals. Then he explains what specific goals he sets for this program, that he wants to gain knowledge in math basis and knowledge of neoclassical, micro, and institutional economics, and also the importance of finding a very good advisor, because this is again essential for a PhD. And he pinpoints who from the faculty might satisfy and do work in his topic, because all the people that he lists here, they actually they have a record of research in the same field that he is interested in, and that's why he mentions those people. So this is it. It's longer than 500 words, but this is a PhD example of motivation for a PhD program. If we compare this one with the previous one, it shows a bit more focus on a certain area that he is interested in, and this is very important, whereas the other girl focuses more on skills that she has and why she's qualified, but she's a bit too general about what she wants to study and research. So that's the difference, right? It depends on, if you're writing a motivation letter for, I don't know, for a PhD program or a program which requires a substantial scientific component, right, or the program is very specific and focused, then it's important that you show your knowledge by demonstrating experiences and research that you've taken. If the program has more of a disciplinary background, and although it might be it might be complementary to your previous background, but still new, then you might want to focus more on what you will gain and how this is important to you. Okay? So it all depends on the purpose and on understanding of what the program wants from you also. Right? It's important to know the requirements. Okay, so this was the example of another statement of purpose, and here you saw the anecdote, so ready to answer questions. Нет, различные шрифтами писать не нужно. Я делаю это специально для того, чтобы обозначить места, на которые мы с вами будем обращать внимание. Поэтому это лишь рабочий вариант. Конечно же, вы придерживаетесь одинакового шрифта, анта и так далее. Да, то есть не нужно этого делать. Ну, здесь как таковой стоит, она маленькая, она лишь это зацепляет внимание. Да? Для Германии можно было так же делать. И, в принципе, девочка, которая писала эссе про архитектуру, она тоже рассказала небольшую историю, что вот в детстве меня всегда поражала серость наших зданий, да, и великолепная яркая архитектура Европы. Вот, то есть это тоже попытка рассказать некоторые анекдоты, просто менее удачные, да? Вот, по сути дела, небольшой анекдот можно писать везде. Это очень хорошая стратегия, но это должно быть сделано умело. Если у вас не очень хороший анекдот, и он не очень интересный, то лучше делать стандартную форму. Просто смысл в том, что такие анекдоты писать сложно. Хотя он и занимает 3-4 строчки, да, но, во-первых, это должно быть очень сжато, емко написано, то есть нужно четко понимать, что я хочу сказать и как я хочу сказать. Поэтому это будет очень эффективно, но только если это качественно сделано. Если это сделано некачественно, тогда лучше более простым языком понятно писать, что у меня такая-то цель долгосрочная, у меня сейчас такой-то бэкграунд, соответственно, мне не хватает сейчас каких-то краткосрочных целей. И поэтому я выбираю данную программу, поскольку ее сильные стороны, такие как А, Б, С и Д, позволят мне восполнить вот эти short-term goals. По сути дела, структура такая. Еще вопрос? Запись вебинара, она будет, и есть запись вебинара по резюме. Вот. Доступ, я думаю, что Максим поможет нам решить, и я постараюсь предоставить вам. Либо это будет на нашем сайте, можно будет зайти и посмотреть его, да, через пароль, либо, в общем, придумаем какой-то вариант, так что да, возможность будет. Вот у нас сегодня 5 участников, да, то есть я надеюсь, что это было все полезно, да, и я настоятельно вам рекомендую воспользоваться вот этими хэндаутс, заполнить для себя, понять, что вы хотите, да, как-то немножко организовать информацию в голове, познать себя, скажем так, да, вот, и потом уже сесть и написать письмо. Я буду рада сделать ревью вашего эссе, да, но это будет в форме, что, допустим, анализ организации, да, и, допустим, анализ приведенных примеров, насколько это логично. То есть исправление с точки зрения там, грамматики и стиля делать я, естественно, не буду, вот, а с точки зрения логики буду рад проанализировать. Еще вопросы есть какие-то? Может быть, нужно еще что-то уточнить, привести примеры? Ну, если вопросов больше нет, то мы будем тогда постепенно завершать вебинар. Давайте еще вот пару минут вам дам, чтобы еще раз подумать, может быть, сформулировать, что было бы вам еще полезно, или какую информацию вам нужно прислать, допустим, да, и если, ну, после этого мы тогда завершим, чтобы все знали, что информация получена и усвоена и понятна. Для Германии был, там был для Италии, да, ну подобный. Для Германии много эссе, да, в принципе, но сейчас я вам не смогу показать, потому что это нужно очень убирать имена и так далее. Поэтому как вариант, как шаблон, я могу прислать, но он будет в общем, без названия, имен и так далее, поскольку это конфиденциальность информация. Ну, как я сказала, что эссе для Германии, оно не отличается вот от первого, которое мы видели, оно очень подобное, да? Да, я поняла, что просто посмотреть. Анна, какая у вас сфера? Какую вы программу планируете проходить? Туризм. А бэкграунд у вас в туризме есть или какой-то смежный? Просто в сфере чего? В сфере туризма или в сфере сервиса туризма? Все понятно, хорошо. Ну, это хорошо, замечательно. Вопрос вот, еще раз озвучу, что многие программы Erasmus подразумевают обучение в нескольких странах, и нужно ли как-нибудь акцентировать внимание на этом. То есть, да, на этом нужно акцентировать внимание, и это будет, опять же, относиться к разделу, почему я выбираю данную программу, и что я смогу получить в результате такой комбинации, да, потому что, во-первых, вы там выбираете приоритетные страны, где вы хотите пройти стажировку и учебу, да, вот, и вам нужно понимать, что вам сможет дать каждый из вузов и каждая из стран, и вообще комбинация такого обмена, безусловно, это очень важный компонент, который характерен для программы Erasmus Mundus, и на этом нужно сделать акцент, поскольку когда вас рассматривают и рассматривают, какую вам дать страну приоритетную вашу, да, либо третий вариант, они в том числе основываются на вашем эссе. Поэтому если вы горите желанием поехать в Италию там, или в Норвегию, то вам нужно обосновать, почему данный университет будет для вас максимально полезным. Но опять же, для того, чтобы сделать это красиво и интересно, нужно сделать хорошее исследование по вариантам стран и программ, которые вы выбираете, какие у них есть сильные стороны, и что вы получите для, скажем так, удовлетворения ваших short-term goals из каждой из этих вариантов. В таком случае это важно. Если просто писать, что я всегда там мечтала поучиться в Норвегии, то это, конечно же, не вариант. Об этом я бы писала в main body, потому что все равно полную аргументацию выбора страны и программы введения вы не сможете. Вы сможете написать это лишь в общих словах, что программа Erasmus Mundus, которая комбинирует какие-то аспекты, да, которые для вас важны, посредством интеграции нескольких программ, обеспечит вам такой-то и такой-то опыт. То есть в введении будет всегда достаточно общая информация, но она будет фокусировать внимание читателей, да, на том, о чем вы будете писать в your main body. Вот, поэтому акцент нужно расставить, но не очень подробно. То есть, по сути дела, у вас вот этот параграф о выборе университета и о выборе программы и страны, он будет после описания и анализа вашей квалификации. Потому что это логично. После того, как вы сказали, что вот я такой-то хороший студент, который полностью удовлетворяет своим тезам, именно поэтому я выбираю вот первую страну, поскольку она даст мне только 10 и так далее. Хорошо, еще вопросы? Ну, давайте с вами подытожим, да, so today we discussed how to write motivation letter, and once again I urge you to complete all these 3 steps. I urge you to work on write several drafts, because every draft you can always improve, so don't sit and write your motivation letter a week before your deadline. Spend at least a month working on it, then you will make sure that your essay is of a very good quality. Okay? Use active verb list because it will help you to diversify your language and to build it in a form of analysis as opposed of narrative. And yes, be yourself. Try to bring as many appropriate and positive experiences as possible, and make sure to emphasize what you have learned from them. Okay? From my side, will send you once again the files that you have received today, so that you will have them on hand, and I will send you an example of one additional motivation letter, which was written for Germany, as you wished, and I will inform you also concerning the recording and where you can access if you would like to review some of the information that we talked about today. Okay? So, thank you very much for attending this workshop. I hope that you found it useful, and I wish you all the success in writing your perfect motivation letter and also getting into your dream school. So on this note, have a good weekend, and also Global Ambassador hosts a conference tomorrow in Turku. It will take place at 3 o'clock. And if you haven't registered, you may just show up, and there will be a whole section on master degree and various opportunities in Europe and in other parts of the world. So, hope to see you all there. Yes, and I will be there tomorrow as well, and hope to see you all soon.